Alright, okay, something new for today, bringing you massive value, as I would say. So, what I got to get into is really like the foundation of the information that I bring to you. I always thought, I'm always teaching people stuff, but I never really broke down like where all this stuff comes from. And it's really kind of like information that has always been around, but it was like re-summarized and repackaged and put in a way that I think people in America, which is where it was written, I think around at least like 100 years ago, but it was put into information that they could understand. So yeah, I'm all here talking about bringing you the secrets to success, bringing you the foundation of the knowledge where it came from. And basically, it all started with one of the richest people in America at the time, successful entrepreneur, Andrew Carnegie. So yeah, they were one of the richest families in America. This was one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the history of America. And what he did was he was already successful, and he hired somebody to basically go around and interview other successful people and see if they could find any kind of commonalities, any kind of link between everybody's success that everybody followed, and they did. And this guy interviewed at least 500 successful people at the time in America and throughout the rest of the world. And basically what he found was a list of commonalities that I'm going to talk to you about. And this book is really like the foundation, which is called Think and Grow Rich. It's like the foundation that I see pretty much like everything that has anything to do about success in business really kind of like originated from this train of thought. If you think you're getting value from this channel, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any comments, questions, that's cool, go ahead. I'm happy to answer any questions you got about business, give you any advice that I have. Also, too, go ahead and look in the description of this video. There's going to be a link for a mailing list you can sign up for that's totally free. Alright, so the first principle from this book is really about having desire and passion. It comes down to the person who wants it more. You look at a lot of sports, teams could be like evenly skilled, and at the end of the day it comes down to like who wants it more. And I think that's a good analogy really in business too. It's like, how bad do you want it? Like, how bad do you want to change your life? Because you can find a correlation between how dedicated people were, like how bad they really wanted to change, how bad they wanted to improve, like how much they really wanted it. And that has a huge impact on whether they were successful or not. So if you're kind of like, yeah, my life could be a little bit better, but it's not really that big of a deal, then it's probably not gonna really happen for you, like honestly. But if you're like, yeah, like I'm really gonna do whatever I have to by any means to make sure that my life is better. I don't like the way I've been living. I don't like the way things have been going for me. Then that's my audience. That's the people I'm trying to help, because I was in that same situation. And I can tell you too, really, that never goes away. Like once you start improving, you're always gonna find something better. Like I don't really know any successful people that are like, yeah, I just got to a point in life where I don't see any way my life could get better, and I just feel like there's nothing left for me to do. I've never seen anyone, I've never heard anyone that I consider to be successful and that has done great things talk like that. So it's the exact opposite, and it's just a skill that you learn along the way. So the next part is really all about belief. Like, do you believe that it's even possible for you to do something? Because if you don't, then it's not going to happen. If you strongly believe that you can do it, if you strongly believe that you can create the life you want to create, if you strongly believe that you can start the business you want to start and it will be successful and make as much money as you want to make, then the chances go way up. The odds go way up for you to actually do that. So that's why it's so important not to doubt yourself, right? And it even comes down to being around other people that doubt you. But that's also something where I feel like as time goes on and you become more successful, anybody that brings any doubts to you, it's going to have less and less effect over you over time. Another great thing to consider is really visualizing where you want to be. See yourself there already. This is a skill that a lot of people have, that they find when they build. They become better at visualizing where they want to be and what they want to see, that they see that things start to happen a lot quicker. Next principle I want to talk about is sometimes referred to as autosuggestion. Sometimes it's referred to as like hypnosis or self-hypnosis. There's a lot of different really words that can be used to describe this, but it's basically, just repeating to yourself, to your subconscious mind, what you want to happen, what you want to achieve. Just like if you worry about something that you don't want to happen over and over, that thing's more likely to happen. So if you spend your time feeding your mind thoughts about good things, where you want to be, what you want to see, all the types of ways you want to live your life, the people you want to be around, and it's all positive, and you just keep doing that and you keep seeing yourself there, then it's more likely and the odds are better in your favor for it to happen. The next principle I want to talk about is a skill that pretty much all successful people seem to share, and that's specialized knowledge. And that just basically means like continued education, right? Like a lot of people just go to school and then they stop learning. And not only is that going to really have a big impact on them in a negative way from what they can accomplish in life, but it's also going to really affect your mind. Like, if you're not using your mind to like grow, like your mind is a muscle just like everything else. So if you're not learning, then your mind is just getting weaker. So you find the skills, being able to identify the one skill that's going to bring the most benefit to whatever you want to do in life, and becoming as specialized on that skill and as advanced on that skill as you can be, is really something that the most successful people have in common. And once you start to educate yourself and learn how to educate yourself about anything you want to learn, is definitely a skill in itself that becomes easier over time. The next thing that all these successful people shared in common was creativity, imagination, whatever you want to call it. But basically they all had an ability to see things, think about things that other people couldn't see or think about. They were, able to just look beyond what was already there, see solutions, and see goals and see visions and everything like that. And it's hard to do that if everything's being dictated to you of how you spend your time and you're not really thinking for yourself, then that skill kind of goes away naturally. But if you're really like using that skill and you're really being creative on a daily basis, even if it's only for like 10 minutes a day, that's gonna be a skill that you'll build. And obviously that's super important for building not only a business, but the whole reason that you're doing the business in the first place is to make your life better. So you got to have that creativity to see. Next skill I'm talking about is all about planning. It's all about organization. And this is something that the most successful people ended up all sharing a skill that they were very good at because they had all been doing it a long time. And over the years, what I've found personally is that I get a lot better at the process of writing out goals and breaking them down into tasks and organizing my time. It used to be that I would have like way too many goals, and I would break them down into way too many steps and way too many details. But over time, I was able to find a way to really reduce the amount of like goals that I had, the amount of things that I needed to focus on at one time, and really break them down into smaller steps that were way more valuable. So yeah, it's just something at the beginning, everything can seem really overwhelming, but over time, if you make sure to practice, having goals and breaking things down into steps and organizing your time, everything's gonna really start to flow a lot better, in my opinion. Next skill or principle I want to talk about is basically like a decision-making skill, right? Like, can you make a decision about something really quick, or do you have to spend a lot of time thinking about things? And it's all situational, right? Like, the bigger the decision is, obviously you'd probably want to spend a little bit more time and more research into, but there's a lot of decisions on a daily basis that I think that people are faced with that, if they are better, if they become more skilled at just making snap decisions, because most things really, like, I think the more that you think about it, it doesn't really help you, right? Like, it's just better to kind of like make a decision and go with that. And if you make a mistake, learn from your mistake. But yeah, that's something where it's like, if if you can't make your mind if you can't make your mind up about something, then it's probably going to be pretty hard to get started and just start moving on in the first place. So yeah, just find yourself in a time where you can't make up your mind, and just, go with your gut and just be able to make a decision quick and not worry about, did I make the wrong decision? Just think like, okay, this is what my gut says. I'm going to do this. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, then I'll learn something from it. The next skill or principle I'm talking about is really persistence. That's not giving up. A wise man falls down 7 times but gets up 8. A lot of people fall down and then they're afraid to get up. It's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get up. And each time you get up, it builds more character and makes you stronger. And this is something that most successful people have in common. And I can tell you that I've had many businesses that I've started not work out. I've had many businesses that I thought were going to work out, just waste a lot of my time, but I always learned from something from it. And then the next thing that I started always was better. I've had a lot of products that I've created not get any sales, or not many. I've had a lot of products that I created that I was not really sure, if they were going to get a lot of sales, end up making a lot of money. But it was something to where I just made a quick decision and I tried it and I put it out there, and it either worked or it didn't work, but I always gained something from it. And if the first time that I had something go wrong, I just gave up and I just decided to like stop doing that path, I never would be where I am right now. So yeah, just it all comes down to what I was talking about at the beginning of this video too. Once you're really dedicated to something, like it's pretty hard to give up, because like how bad you want it, and what life is going to be like if you went back to the way you were already living. And when you have that determination, like, giving up is not really even an option in the back of your head. So now I feel like the rest of the steps that I'm going to talk about are things that are really taking it to like the next level, right? If you're watching this, you might not really understand it first, but I would say like these are definitely skills that successful people share. So even if it doesn't make any sense to you, just still maybe consider it, and over time, if you hear this over and over, you might start to like understand it a little better. The first thing being like understanding the subconscious mind and how it works. So there's a lot of things like suggestion, a lot of things that happen on a daily basis that people are not aware of, that are affecting their subconscious mind, that affect really like how their life plays out. And once you understand like how your subconscious mind works and how it determines what happens to you in life, then you can take steps to have control over what you feed your subconscious mind. And when you have control over that, when you have control of your mind like that, you really get to a point where any kind of like outside influences will not have any effect or that big of an effect of you at all, because you'll be aware of how they affect your subconscious mind, and you'll be able to remove yourself from the situation before things can negatively affect you. So yeah, that being said, the next thing really just plays off of that, and that would be just, your subconscious mind is obviously, affected by your brain. So if you understand brain health, and like what kind of vitamins, like how much sleep you need, like what kind of food, staying hydrated, just all simple things like that, like anything you can do to improve the health of your brain is going to have a big impact on where you are in life, how much money you make, how successful your business is, everything like that. So the last thing I want to talk about could be the most important, and that's intuition. And I've already briefly brought it up on other things like decision making, because yeah, you're not going to know a lot of the answers. A lot of this is just like going on the fly, going with the flow, and it's going to be a lot of decisions you're going to have to make where you have to come up with an answer, but you don't really know. So the more you trust your intuition, I think the better things are going to work out for you, And a lot of times, like, you could have a lot of information coming at you that's going to contradict your own intuition. And I think it's best to just ignore that information and just go with your own intuition. And there's definitely things you can do, like I was talking about with brain health, subconscious mind, that you can strengthen your intuition. And I think the main thing you can do to strengthen your intuition is just to follow it in the first place. Even when your mind is telling you, like, well, I don't think this makes sense, even though my gut, my intuition is telling me I should do this, your mind could be telling you to do something else. Well, start overriding that and just go with your intuition, because just doing that is going to make your intuition stronger. And I think that's the best thing that you could do to really strengthen your intuition. And it's just going to play off into everything else, like I was saying, decision making, subconscious mind, everything like that. That is a summary of the main principles from the foundation of the information that really got me started and really set me off on my journey. And I believe that, a lot of this information, people have really gotten a better understanding of it than they had when it was put out. But I think pretty much all the information coming out today about success in business really stems from, this foundation and these principles. So yeah, hopefully you got some value off of what I had to tell you. That's it for today.